years ago. I remember it was in Iowa. I was listening to Matt Cohen of Second Street talking, and his company does a lot for our customers. The company Second Street, they run promotions for local businesses and help them with lead generation. And his point is, you've got to control the communication with the readers. And, he was talking really practically, which means simply getting them on your newsletter list, getting their email in one way or another. Now, when people subscribe to the Journal or journaltrib.com, you get their email in your system. They're automatically in the newsletter list. But I think that there's other, for the free papers we work with, we're always, trying to get them to have a free newsletter sign up, or even the paid newspapers. The newsletter should be free because it's just teasers, and it's pretty much what they're going to get on a Facebook or, Google index search anyway. But I just want to kind of point out, or ask you, I guess, what are some practical tips, or maybe we can just brainstorm all of us, what are some practical tips that we can suggest to publishers to take back control of the communication with their readers? Because I don't think that there's anything wrong with using Facebook as a marketing tool while you can, make hay while the sun's shining, get your stuff out there and try to get the traffic in. But if something like this were to happen in the US and they did shut you down, how else would you communicate,
Yeah, for sure. The newsletter is that tool, because we use that every week to remind people that, the new issue is up. And I've always thought that was critical,
right?
Because even though a lot of people prefer to read newspapers now digitally,
right,
I have always been concerned about the loss of that physical, tangible connection to a product that you hold.
Right.
And so if we aren't putting ourselves out in front of the people who have already paid us,
right,
then they will eventually lose that connection. So we want to do everything we can to remind them when the new edition comes out.
Mm-hmm.
As much as we can. And we did this a lot with COVID. We were posting daily and pushing out in the newsletter that, hey, there's new content on the web.
Right.
To reinforce that value, reinforce that connection, try to train them to come to us more often. Mm-hmm. Now, I have to confess that, now that COVID has kind of died down a little bit, we haven't really implemented a program that would help us keep doing that. And I think we really should. We still do it when we feel like we have breaking news that warrants, it's just like on the TV, breaking news,
right.
Breaking into our subscribers, email by sending them out a newsletter on Thursday. Oh my gosh, it's not supposed to come on Thursday. It comes on Tuesday.
Right.
I think whenever you have an opportunity to do that, do it. And don't, I have gotten over worrying about what it does to our newspaper value, because just, at first there was a real barrier because I worried that, we're going to give away the whole newspaper,
Mm-hmm.
People are going to have already read it,
right.
when the newspaper comes out. It doesn't matter, because you're not going to catch everybody, number one. Number
right.
two, when you do put it in the paper, you're probably going to freshen it up, and there probably will be new details anyway.
That's even better. Yeah, right. To see the story evolve. Yeah.
The most important thing is to keep that connection, keep that tangible relationship going. And I think the newsletter, we could do it a lot more than we do. We really should look at doing that more.
Right. I need to get some real analytics on this, but I know just like seeing different examples, especially this paper out in California, the Acorn, their open rates have increased significantly since they started doing the single article blasts, multiple times a week. So, it's not like you may get some people that unsubscribe because it's too much, but then we don't want them really anyway. They're not really that interested necessarily. So let's give plenty of keep the communication going for the people that are really interested, and they will be more engaged with time, I would think,
Right.
but I'd love to get some, actual numbers on this. So we got newsletters. I would just also point out that, Facebook is just one marketing tool in a whole toolbox of platforms. So diversifying by setting up accounts on Twitter, even LinkedIn, Instagram, which is part of Facebook. Reddit is another interesting social network that a lot of young people use. That all of these platforms are our tool blog to social that plugin can automatically send the post to. So that's something that to consider, and you can do it with a lot of different software, like just that do the batch publishing, so or scheduling. So I don't know. Do you use anything like that, or do you manually go into Facebook and post everything?
No, we schedule our posts. So one of our, it's actually our sports guy is tasked with putting up all of our articles, and so he goes in on Tuesday night, and we try to schedule them all out between say Tuesday night and Friday morning, because by Saturday, Wednesday paper, it's probably not so fresh, but and so you just do it once, and it doesn't take that long to do all of them at one time. And I think it's funny, as much as I'm frustrated with Facebook and in so many ways, for our community, Facebook is it. I mean, there are very few people on Twitter here. So maybe some of the younger people are on Instagram, but there's no numbers there. Even sometimes, even though I'm saying, you do the newsletters, I have been disappointed by how few people come when we put out a special newsletter for a breaking story. And how few actually come and read it. But it has to do with the content too. I was just asked in this pointer thing that we did on COVID and how it's impacting newsrooms. What are the lessons we take away from COVID? And I said, well, it's kind of hard to translate what we were doing at the height of COVID into how we could better our business model, because people are not going to react to the same to a story that's, Divide County has its first COVID case. 57,000 people want to read that. But if you're just telling them that they're having hot dogs at the pool, no one cares. So, and so as a small, more rural place where, big news doesn't happen every day, it is a challenge to figure out ways.